can you really call it good news when a player avoids serious injury, but the underlying issues that put him in danger remain completely unresolved? That's the uncomfortable reality facing the Atlanta Falcons right now. After quarterback Michael Penix Jr. suffered a bone bruise during Sunday's bruising encounter with the San Francisco 49ers, the organization breathed a collective sigh of relief when medical evaluations revealed the injury wasn't severe. He'll likely be ready for Sunday's matchup against the Miami Dolphins, perhaps with some limited practice participation this week. But here's the thing that should keep Falcons fans awake at night. The injury itself isn't the story. The story is how Penix sustained that bone bruise in the first place, getting absolutely pummeled by 49ers defenders throughout a game where Atlanta's offensive line resembled a turnstile more than a protective barrier. The story is a young quarterback's confidence being systematically dismantled by constant pressure, missed connections, and an offense that's sputtering when it should be soaring. The medical report might say Penix is fine. The game film tells a very different story. Let's rewind to Sunday's disaster in the Bay Area. The Falcons traveled to face the 49ers with hopes of building momentum, but instead delivered one of their most disappointing performances of the season, falling 20-10 in a game that felt even more lopsided than the final score suggests. Penix finished the afternoon with 241 passing yards, a number that looks respectable in a box score but tells only a fraction of the story. His completion percentage sat at a dismal 55%. And the eye test revealed something even more concerning. A quarterback under siege, scrambling for his life, and unable to establish any rhythm or timing with his receivers. The bone bruise occurred in the fourth quarter when Penix got tangled up with multiple 49ers defenders, an inevitable consequence of the relentless pressure he faced throughout the contest. But that injury was merely the physical manifestation of a beating that had been ongoing for 4 quarters. Fox reporter Tori McElhaney shared a statistic that perfectly encapsulates Penix's nightmare afternoon from Next Gen Stats. Michael Penix Jr. did not complete any of his 9 passes under pressure in Week 7 against the 49ers, the most pass attempts in a game without a completion by any quarterback since 2023, Sam Howell 11. Read that again. 9 attempts under pressure, 0 completions. That's not just a bad day. That's a quarterback operating in survival mode, making desperate throws while defenders breathe down his neck, unable to set his feet or go through his progressions properly. On Tuesday, NFL Network's Tom Pelissero provided the update Falcons fans desperately wanted to hear. He may be somewhat limited at practice this week, but the expectation is Penix will be good to go Sunday against the Dolphins. In isolation, that's fantastic news. Bone bruises can be tricky injuries that linger and limit mobility, especially for a quarterback who needs to plant and drive throws. The fact that Penix avoided anything more serious, a fracture, ligament damage, or something requiring extended absence, represents a best-case scenario given the circumstances. But let's not kid ourselves. This injury update doesn't change the fundamental challenges facing Atlanta's offense. Penix being healthy enough to play Sunday is wonderful. But if the Falcons trot out the same offensive line performance, the same protection schemes, and the same inability to give their quarterback clean pockets, we're just delaying the inevitable next injury scare. You can't keep throwing a young quarterback into a meat grinder and expect different results. Eventually, the meat grinder wins. To understand the current situation, we need context about Penix's NFL journey. The former Washington star is in his second season after being selected 8th overall in the 2024 NFL Draft, one of several first-round quarterbacks from that class expected to reshape the league's landscape. His rookie season in 2024 was, to put it charitably, underwhelming. Penix threw for just 775 yards with 3 touchdowns across limited action, showing flashes of a talent that made him a first-round pick, but struggling with consistency and adjusting to NFL speed. This season represents a significant statistical improvement. Through 6 games, Penix has already accumulated 1,409 passing yards with 5 touchdown passes. He's more than doubled his rookie-year yardage total and is showing the arm talent and decision-making that had scouts drooling during his college career. But those numbers come with concerning caveats. Penix also has 3 interceptions this season, and his performances have been wildly inconsistent. He's looked brilliant in stretches, then completely lost in others. The Falcons even benched him during an ugly loss to the Carolina Panthers, a humbling moment for any young quarterback, especially one drafted in the top 10. Following the San Francisco defeat, Penix's frustration was palpable. It was just little things that we let slip as an offense for us to come away victorious today, he told reporters. The defense gave us opportunities. That last line stings. When your defense, often the scapegoat in losses, is giving you chances and you can't capitalize, the mirror becomes an uncomfortable place to look. The Falcons now sit at 3-3, a middling record that accurately reflects their identity, a team with talent that hasn't figured out how to consistently put it all together. Penix's struggles against pressure aren't entirely his fault. 9 attempts under pressure with 0 completions is alarming, but it also raises questions about offensive line play, scheme, and whether Atlanta is putting their young quarterback in positions to succeed. Elite quarterbacks can overcome pressure and make plays when the pocket collapses. That's what separates the good from the great. But asking a second-year quarterback to consistently perform miracles while under duress is unrealistic and ultimately counterproductive to his development. The Falcons need to ask themselves some hard questions heading into their Week 8 matchup against Miami. Are they giving Penix adequate protection? Are the play designs creating easy throws and building his confidence? Are they establishing the run game to take pressure off their young signal caller? Or are they asking him to be Patrick Mahomes before he's ready for that responsibility? Sunday's 1 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff against the Dolphins represents an opportunity for redemption. Miami's defense presents challenges, but nothing like the relentless pressure San Francisco brought. If Atlanta's coaching staff learned anything from the 49ers debacle, they'll implement adjustments designed to give Penix cleaner looks and quicker release opportunities. The bone bruise shouldn't significantly impact his performance, assuming he's cleared medically as expected. But the mental bruising from Sunday's beating might linger longer than any physical ailment. Penix spoke during the offseason about his mission to improve after his disappointing rookie campaign. He's made strides statistically, but the next step in his evolution requires consistency, stringing together quality performances rather than alternating between brilliant and brutal. The Falcons invested significant draft capital in Penix, believing he could be their franchise quarterback for the next decade. That investment only pays dividends if they protect it properly, both literally and figuratively. Michael Penix Jr. got lucky. The bone bruise could have been worse. The collision with 49ers defenders could have resulted in something season-threatening. The medical update provides short-term relief, but it doesn't address the systemic issues that put him in harm's way. Atlanta dodged a bullet this week, but you can't build a successful season or develop a franchise quarterback by constantly dodging bullets. Eventually, your luck runs out. The Falcons have talent. They have a young quarterback with legitimate arm talent and leadership qualities. What they need now is a coherent plan to maximize that talent, protect their investment, and create an offensive environment where Penix can thrive rather than merely survive. Sunday against Miami represents more than just another game. It's a referendum on whether Atlanta learned anything from the San Francisco disaster, whether they can adjust and adapt, and whether they're serious about developing Penix into the quarterback they drafted him to become. The injury news is good, but good news about avoiding disaster isn't the same as actual progress. The Falcons need to figure that out quickly before their luck and their season runs out. Is Michael Penix Jr. the answer in Atlanta, or are the Falcons setting him up to fail with inadequate protection and inconsistent offensive scheming? Should we be encouraged by his statistical improvements, or concerned that he's still showing the same inconsistency that plagued his rookie season? Drop your thoughts below. I want to hear whether you think this is a quarterback problem, an offensive line problem, or a coaching problem. And if you're as concerned about Atlanta's direction as I am, smash that like button, and let's keep this conversation rolling.